I've been taking good care of my teeth. The first thing I did when I arrived in Grand Marais was to buy a new toothbrush, a new bag of floss picks, and a pack of teeth whitening strips, because I accidentally left my toiletries bag in the last hotel. They had everything I was looking for at the gas station. You'd be amazed what you can find at a regular old gas station. This is where I'm staying, on the 3rd floor of the East Bay Suites. My balcony has a nice view of the lake. $150 a night is kind of expensive if you ask me, but that's all paid for. I'm not here on vacation. This trip is research for a book I'm writing, a biography of Lars Benson, the lead singer of the Gashes. In fact, it's an autobiography. That's what makes me a ghostwriter. I won't go into the story of how I got this job. Lars was born and grew up here in Grand Marais, Minnesota. He told me that he greatly influenced him as a person and as a musician. That's why I had to visit, to get a sense of the place, so that I can get a sense of who I'm writing about. He sent me some handwritten notes listing the places in Grand Marais that were important to him. There was his childhood home on the corner of 2nd Street. There was the Dirty Whistle Cafe where he had his first ever performance, although of course this was years before the Gashes met. There was the bookstore where he would go to make out with his girlfriend, and the alleyway where he would go to smoke hash with his friends. Why hash, I asked him. Why not just weed? Every teenager smokes weed, he said. We wanted to be different. I arrived in Grand Marais 3 days ago, and I've been scouting the places that he mentioned in his notes. The town seems to have changed a lot since his childhood. The Dirty Whistle Cafe doesn't exist anymore. I found a place called the Blue Water Cafe, but I asked around and nobody there remembered the Dirty Whistle. There is a bookstore, but it didn't seem like the place for a romantic rendezvous. The cashier was breathing down my neck just for flipping through the books, let alone making out with a girl. But Lars is a less private person than I am, so who knows? It's an idyllic place to grow up. A perfectly safe, perfectly friendly little town by the lake. Maybe that's why Lars hated it so much. He couldn't stand that everyone around him was nice. Even when he broke their rules, even when he tried his hardest to invite condemnation, they were gracious and forgiving. An unfortunate situation for a punk musician to be in. Yesterday I went to the house where he grew up on the corner of 2nd Street, a very typical middle-class American home. I walked up the steps to the porch and knocked at the front door. There was no response. I peered inside the window. From what I could make out, the place was a mess. Stacks of newspapers and souvenirs on a peeling sofa. Strange that the inside should be so dingy when the outside was clean and freshly painted. I knocked again, this time more forcefully. After a few moments had passed, I thought I heard some rustling and creaking from inside, but nobody came to answer the door. I waited for a few minutes, knocked one last time, and gave up. It was a long and dusty walk back to the hotel. The TV in my room doesn't work. At least there's air conditioning and the pillows are cold. When I got back, I sat down at the desk to write. Outside on the beach, a family was packing up their picnic. I could hear seagulls, but I couldn't see them. All my scouting had amounted to nothing. For some reason, the town of Grand Marais had left Lars Benson behind. It was as if he had never existed. The people I talked to hadn't even heard of the Gashes. America really is changing, I thought. I shut my computer and lay down on the bed. Yesterday I went to the Blue Water Cafe and had a few cups of coffee. I know coffee stains your teeth, but I've been addicted for too long. The lady at the counter recognized me. "You're the guy who was asking about a rock singer," she said. "What are you, a historian?" "Something like that," I said. "You don't look like a historian," she said. "How's that?" I asked. "Well, first you need a new jacket," she said. "That thing is on its last legs, and you could use a shave and a haircut." "You're probably right," I said. "Do you know where I could get a haircut around here?" "Of course," she said. "Just go 2 blocks in that direction. Grand Marais Salon. They do a good job over there. Soon you'll look like a proper professor of history." "Thanks," I said, and paid for my coffee. As it turned out, the barbershop was right across from my hotel. I hadn't noticed because it didn't look like a barbershop from the outside, but as soon as I stepped inside, I caught a thick aroma of hair wash and aftershave. 2 of the hairdressers were anxious middle-aged women. The third was much younger, a redhead girl with deep eyes. She was sweeping the floor. I could see out of my peripheral that she was staring at me from across the room. One of the middle-aged women cut my hair shorter than I wanted it. After that, I went for a walk on the beach. It was overcast but warm. I put in my earbuds and listened to the Gash's first single, Burn Into Me. I still find it shocking. The anger of Tex David's drumming, the sparse arrangement, and of course Lars's voice, that famous ragged howl. Even now, it doesn't sound like something that would get played on the radio. I went back to my room, brushed my teeth, and took a nap. When I woke up, it was evening. I went outside and watched the sunset. Standing at the edge of the water, I felt someone's presence behind me. I turned around and there she was, the redhead girl from the barbershop. She stood a few paces away, bathed in the light of the setting sun. Her eyes were fixed on me. You're from the barbershop, right?
And where are you from?
I'm from nowhere.
Why are you here?
What, am I not allowed to be?
I've seen you snooping around.
That's because I am snooping around.
What are you looking for?
Maybe I'll tell you if I get to know you better. She walked up to the railing. There was the trace of a smile on her face.
What do you want to know?
Well, let's start with where you're from.
I'm from here.
How old are you?
20, last week.
Okay. And is that your mom that you work for at the barbershop?
My mom's dead.
Oh. So's mine. It's weird getting your hair cut, having a stranger's fingers on your scalp like that, and they see all the embarrassing things you've tried to hide, all the ugly spots and little decisions you've had to make. It's almost intimate. Does it feel that way as the barber?
When I started out, I wasn't always comfortable, but now I just see the customer's head as an object. My job is to cut the hair off that object.
I wonder if all barbers think that way.
Want to go sit on the stoop?
Sure. So you've been in Grand Marais your whole life?
Yeah. The furthest I've ever gone is 2 towns over.
And you never wanted to leave?
Not really. I like it here. Do you mind if I smoke?
Go ahead. She took out a pipe and started filling it. Is that hash?
Want to try it?
Sure. She lit the pipe and handed it to me. I took a puff. Can I get your opinion on something?
I try not to have opinions.
Isn't that an opinion?
Do you think so?
Yeah, I guess I do. You disagree?
I don't have an opinion about it.
Fair enough.
I had a dream about you last night.
Last night, but we only met today.
That's what makes it interesting.
Okay, tell me the dream.
I was going to get water from an old well, and I heard your voice and looked inside, and you were stuck at the bottom, screaming up at me. But I couldn't hear what you were screaming. I didn't know whether you wanted to be saved or not.
I wonder what it means.
I think it means you're stuck.
Let me ask you something else. Have you ever heard of the Gashes, the punk band from the 80s?
I don't listen to punk.
What do you listen to?
Johnny Cash.
So you like old music?
No, just Johnny Cash.
Why him in particular?
I don't know. I've been obsessed with him ever since I was little, and my dad played I Walk the Line. He had the deepest voice I'd ever heard.
Do I have a deep voice?
Not really.
She stood up and tapped out her pipe on the grass. The girl was quiet as we walked back to her house. Maybe she was thinking about something. Or maybe she was thinking about whether I was thinking about something. There was a man 30 feet back. He had been with us for a few blocks. Is that guy following us?
Don't worry about him.
You know him?
I know everyone in Grand Marais.
Who is he?
He's harmless.
We stopped at the gas station on the way back. The girl bought 3 lottery tickets. She put them in her wallet without scratching them off, and we left. I wonder where the well came from. Are there any old wells around here? She shook her head.
There was one on my grandfather's farm, but it's sealed up now.
Oh, where's that? She shook her head again, as if I had asked a yes or no question. I looked back to check if the man was still following us. We seemed to be alone.
Here we are.
She stopped in front of the house on the corner of 2nd Street. This is where you live?
You're surprised.
It's just not what I expected. I followed her up onto the porch. All the lights in the house were off.
Thanks for walking me home.
Sure, although I wonder why you would trust me to walk you home. Apparently I'm the only person in this town you don't know.
You were in my dream. You needed help.
I see.
And I don't trust the people in this town. I know them, but that doesn't mean I trust them.
What about your dad?
My dad's away. You want to come in? We can scratch off the tickets. I'll split the winnings with you.
I actually have to get back to my hotel. I was planning to get up early and work in the morning, but thanks for asking.
It's okay. You can come in.
What do you mean?
You don't have to go.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Good night. She went inside and shut the front door behind her. There was a long silence. I couldn't hear anything from inside the house, not even rustling or footsteps or the sound of a door closing. I stood there for a while, waiting for the lights to come on, but they never did. So I walked back. I took a different route back to the hotel. Looking behind me, I saw the same man walking more swiftly now. There was no doubt that I was being followed. I tried to increase my own pace, but soon he caught up with me. We were in a kind of parking lot. "Come here," he said. I stopped and turned to look at him. I couldn't make out his face in the half-light. "Sorry," I said, "but I have somewhere to be." "How do you know the girl?" he said. I did not reply. "The girl you were walking with, the redhead. I don't know how you met her or what she told you, but I don't want you to ever talk to her again. Do you understand?" I remained silent. He moved closer and I realized how tall he was. "Listen, man, I'm not going to hurt you, but I need you to give me a positive answer. This is as much for your good as it is for mine." "Okay, I'll never talk to that girl again." He patted me on the back. "You're a smart guy," he said, "but I think you're in the wrong place." And he walked away. That was last night. This morning I woke up with a strange feeling. After brushing my teeth, I sit down at my computer and search up Lars Benson on Wikipedia. I want to make sure that the guy really exists. I feel some relief when I see a familiar picture of him on stage at Glastonbury and the short accompanying biography. Lars Eric Benson was born on August 14th, 1962 in Grand Marais, Michigan. Michigan. I click on the link. Grand Marais is an unincorporated community in Alger County in the U.S. state of Michigan. It is located within Burt Township on the shores of Lake Superior. I am in the wrong town, in the wrong county, in the wrong state. Lars Benson has never set foot in Grand Marais, Minnesota. I pack up my things and check out of the East Bay Suites, 3 days before I am scheduled to leave. It's a long drive to Grand Marais, Michigan, 8 hours and 14 minutes to be exact, but I'm sure it will be over in no time. This whole week has meant nothing. All of these notes will be deleted. Now is when my research begins.